You don't even want to have to read the contract, right? As soon as someone opens up the contract, you're in trouble.
Exactly. And then if you start basing everything based on contracts and based on legal ways of doing things, the relationship, I believe, you start to breaking it down a little bit.
Your role at Two Roads, I'm sure that with all, you're in a very big project right now. And you've got so many moving pieces, and you got thrown into it as someone that didn't have any development experience, didn't have like real ground up experience like that. There was already an ongoing project. You got thrown into the thick of it and we're like, okay, do your job now. So how did you manage all of that?
This project, I'm going to talk a little bit about the metrics of this project, right? This project is composed of 1,500,000 square feet of construction that is happening, gross, right? It's two parallel buildings, one called the Lofty, which is for condotel, and one called the Standard, right? The Standard is 45 floors and the Lofty is 43 floors. So it's a big project. When I got into it, Two Roads Development had just started in a joint venture with Newgard. Newgard was a little bit advanced when we got into it, but that was also a challenge, right? Because we had to catch up with everything that had happened from the early stage of the project. But personally, for me, I was down for the task. I really wanted to learn as much as I could. And I believe that the more challenge you could have in the project, the better opportunities you have for you to analyze and solve them. And every time that you do that, you start growing, right? For me, it was like a great opportunity. I'm still in it and I'm growing as I go, but I started to learn the ins and outs of what really happens in development.
But and how many months into the job are you now?
A year already into the project, and I believe what I've been seeing right now, the crucial part of having a good polished design before starting a project. I believe that's one of the key components of having a great project and also hitting the projections of the amount, the financial amount impact that project is going to have at the end. Because right now we're polishing the design while we go, and every time that we do that, we start getting the change orders. Projections just start to get off the roof, and it's very difficult to handle what you had as a base, but
it's inevitable. Even if you thought that you had the best design in the world, the project timelines are so long, just because when you're building over 1.5 million square feet, you can't have every single detail worked out, and you need to be moving through the process and learning how to manage it as you go. And that's why two of the key things that you have to be is eager and optimistic.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Because you have to be looking for how do you overcome those challenges and being sure that you're able to actually do it. And that's why companies like Two Roads or Newgard are able to grow to the sizes that they've grown, is because they keep going and keep moving forward despite all of the challenges that are inevitably going to come. When you're in the middle of a construction process, like your team right now, you've got your in-house development team, which you're a part of, and you've recently told me about your manager who was keeping you working for sure. And that's only the way that you stay on task. But then you also have your general contractor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a relationship dynamic that happens between the on-site staff of the developer and the GC's staff that's there. You guys didn't write the contracts, right? You guys didn't do the design, but you're both responsible for hitting your own team's metrics and also trying to keep a good relationship at the same time. How do you guys work through those types of issues on a personal level with the people, and also making sure that you're doing what's right for your respective companies?
It's an interesting position, honestly. The first thing I did when I got into development is, okay, mapping out how this works, right? And as developers, you start to see that you are like a orchestrator, right? Or a middleman, where you hired your people, which is the consultants, right, where I was in. Now I could see where I was, right, as the engineer that I was before. But in development, I mapped out, and then you're able to see, okay, you got your people, the consultants that will give you the knowledge for you to take good decisions, right? And then you have the GC, right, which you also did a GMP, a contract with them, and they have to execute based on what your metrics or the conditions you guys agree upon the GMP, right? So for us, maintaining relationship with everyone is crucial, right? We don't want to go to the level of everything you want to take to a legal side, right?
You don't even want to have to read the contract, right? As soon as someone opens up the contract, you're in trouble.
Exactly. And then if you start basing everything based on contracts and based on legal ways of doing things, the relationship, I believe, you start to breaking it down a little bit, and it's not as fun to deal or being able to ask for things once you start doing that. So I believe managing a good relationship with all the people that are surrounding the project is crucial. And the way you do it is just being respectful all the times, right? Never breaking that barrier of respect between everyone, and always maintaining your cool. And I believe that by doing that, and at the end of the day, you just have to make everybody see that the point of all this is to build the building, and that everybody needs to have fun while we do it. And if you keep that in mind, not take anything personal, if you get insulted, if they tell you something you don't like, I mean, it's just absorbing it and keep moving forward.